Wow.
Today we're going to talk about the Expos.
Well, let's...
So, as you know, we recently completed the Tinkerbell. Well, I completed the Pixie Dust Challenge. He did the Tinkerbell half in California. And before that, our experience had only been in Florida with the Race Expos. And honestly, didn't know what to expect going out there.
It's true. I mean, when you go to Disney World...
Well, the first Race Expo we ever went to was in 2009, and we were like, what is this? We have no idea. It was crazy.
True. It's very overwhelming the first time you go into one of these expos because there's so much going on in one space. Well, not one space, but we'll get to that later. But there's just so much going on. I mean, between the bib packet pickup, they say that 5 times fast, bib packet pickup, get that picked up, then you got to go get your shirts, then you're going to go to the expo, which is the actual, where they have all the vendors and what's going on.
The first one, I honestly was pregnant with Mackenzie for our first one, and I sat on a bleacher. I picked up my packet, and then I sat on a bleacher for the next hour, and I probably would have loved it, because I love all that stuff, like, even just to look at it, it's so cool. But anyway, so when we were in California, very, like, everything very different than Florida. So we decided a little compare and contrast for those of you maybe doing it coast to coast. So maybe you're going out to California to do the Double Dare, or maybe you're coming to Florida to do the Wine and Dine, or maybe it's a next year thing with the Star Wars, which is my dream.
Oh yeah,
but,
do Kessel Run.
Kessel Run, but we'll
get
get
there.
there.
You do both on the light side and the dark side.
So that's a whole other thing. Okay, so expos. So those of you who don't run, what an expo is before when you register for a race, when you go before the race, you have package pickup. Now, the little local races, like your little local 5K, it's a table. And they give, here's your whatever and whatever. Disney, now, I will say we do a race in Cape Cod and Falmouth. And there's just a nice little expo. Was it in the gym?
It's in the community center now.
No, it's in the community center.
Yeah.
But it's nice, free. The kids like it because they give them bags, they get free samples, whatever.
Yeah,
so
it's a good time.
Disneyland was a really nice setup because it was in the Disneyland Hotel.
Right.
And so it's a conference center, so it's set up for a large group, this kind of thing. So you actually went into the parking garage to get your packages.
Which I wasn't too keen on.
That's the con. We're not on cons, we're on pros.
Is that what we're doing?
Pros setup.
Okay.
Hotel conference room. So the conference room was lovely. It was very well lit. There was good sound. There was water, like lemon water available, and they were constantly refreshing it.
Yeah. If you look at our travel vlog that we had up before, I actually did a little walkthrough through the expo, so you can actually see what it actually looked like and what was all involved in it and everything like that.
And so the speakers were in the middle of the conference room, so it wasn't like this. I mean, we'll get into this more when we talk about Disney World. It wasn't a separate room or a separate area. They were right there, and they were funny, and they were engaging people, so you could be standing in line for something and listening to the speaker, and they have a lot of interesting stuff that, I mean...
The speakers are neat, because
and they're funny.
They are funny. Well, they have, obviously, Run Disney, you have to have a lot of personality to work for Disney to begin with, and then Run Disney, they have a lot of people that come in, and they just kind of give you one that I sat through was just about the course and what to expect in the course and where maybe some of the challenging spots might be. They told you about where all the water spots would be, where if you were doing a half, was there food in the 10K?
No.
I know in the half, around mile 7,
Those nasty
8.
gel things.
Yeah, they give out stuff for you.
But that never.
But they told you where that was going to be in the race, so you could plan ahead.
And
you
you'd
could
be
think
like,
about it.
what kind of runner were you? Okay, this is what you should eat, like that kind of thing, and it's just interesting. So that was nice, and also
and they also went over runner etiquette, which is important, especially in a race of that size with that many people. It's important to know, how do you pass someone on the course? It's not just a matter of going by and bumping them out of the way.
The Run Disney merchandise is always set up in its own separate little tent.
Yeah.
And at first it seemed like there was like lines to get into it. Everybody was, but the lines moved really, really fast. They kept it just a constant flow. And the best part, and this is a major con when we get to Disney World, is that once you were done, you exited out the tent and they corralled you down to a separate room with 1,000 cashiers, 20 cashiers in it.
Yeah.
And it was fabulous because there was an empty cashier. You maybe waited 2 minutes, as opposed to when we get to Disney World, you need to take some notes on that because
because the way it was set up, it wasn't like you go in the tent and you walk out of the tent and then you had to walk over to the cashier. It was a flow, a traffic flow of the people in the park.
Lovely.
So
better than the race in some areas.
It was, yeah. That bottleneck there at the one spot, that wasn't
bad.
good. But you walked in and you went through the merchandise and you picked out what you wanted and everything like that. And then on the other side of it wasn't really a tent at Disneyland. It was more of just
sectioned off.
Yeah, like dividers, like
screens,
walls that were temporary walls that were put up around in the facility that you could go through, and then you would go out the other side where there was a hallway. And it was the only way out. They wouldn't let you go out through the entrance. They made sure people weren't going out through the entrance. And then you went out the other side, and you went through this hallway, and the only way to get out was to go past the cashiers, which was really nice, because that way the cashiers weren't in the same place as the merchandise. So the people that were looking at the merchandise didn't have to kind of dance around people waiting in line to go to the cashiers, which was something that we saw in Disney World.
Which we'll get to.
And that was nice, and it worked really well.
Another thing that was really nice, we were with the Tinkerbell. It was very nicely themed. Like, there were pictures of Tinkerbell. There was a green carpet going into everything.
That was actually neat. I like the green carpet.
It was very tasteful. Like, it wasn't overkill of the fairies, because there was guys, and look at him wearing green like Tinkerbell. It is one of the more female-centered races on Mother's Day and so on, but it was just tastefully done. And also, big thing, when you picked up your numbers, if you ordered anything, it was with your number. You still had to get your shirt somewhere separate, right? But the pins, or whatever else you got, we didn't get anything, but our friends did. And once again, when we get to Disney World, was so much more efficient.
Yeah, well, when you register for a race and that, you have the option of buying some additional merchandise.
Like Fiona, our daughter, registered this morning for the 10K. She raised enough money through Alex's lemonade stand, and she got to register. And she was like, "Oh, can I get a pin?" And I'm like, "It's your first race, of course." So she got, ordered the I think it's Remy's on it, 10K for the wine and dine. So
and it matches we showed you in our video with the medals and that. It matches
that'll
your
match.
medal,
It'll coordinate.
So you can get that. You can also get a necklace. I think there are some people ordered Dooney and Burke bags, which not my thing. But hey, I don't.
Now, even though Coach has a Disney line now, we're just going to talk about that later. But anyway, the other thing that I just actually jotted down the other night was when you do the half, which is really nice, is you get a string bag. At least with the Princess and the Tinkerbell. I've never gotten one for the wine and dine. But
no, we didn't get one for the wine and dine, no.
We got our string bag with our stuff this time.
Yes.
The Princess, we got the string bag after the race. After we finished, they handed us the string bag.
Was that when we got it? I don't remember.
No, we got it after, and you're dripping in sweat, carrying all the food and Gatorade, and they're like, "Here's the string bag," which, in theory, but I liked having it beforehand because then I could carry it and be cute and whatever.
Yeah, well, what's nice is when you register for the races, they give you a big plastic bag. So when you go to check into your corrals and that, you actually have a drop-off. Okay, our cat's going crazy. When you go into your corral, there's a drop-off where you can drop off your bag. It's got your bib number on it. And you can store stuff there, so after the race you can have it. And what I like to do is, especially for the wine and dine, is if we're going to be running the race, I don't know about anyone else, but I am a mess after a race. Oh, I get so gross.
Nasty. Like, so I tried to go,
I feel guilty towards the end of the race. I feel bad for anyone that's behind me. I really do. It's just not pretty.
Makes them finish fast.
So anyhow, I put clothes in the bag so I can change, because they have tents there that you can change in.
I mean, not so much this year because the wine and dine is the after party separate. But if you're going right from the wine and dine in, now that was the nice thing. Like we said in our pro and con, the nice thing about Disneyland was the rate. Our hotel was so close, even though it was a really long walk back after the half because I was in a lot of pain. But you could walk back and shower.
Well, we had to go back a funky way because they closed off roads for the race and stuff, and we couldn't go on a couple of the roads and stuff.
Right, so now the cons to the Disneyland Expo were that one was we were not familiar with it because we had never been there before. But the entrance was a little obscure. Like, we got there and you thought there was a green carpet with Tinkerbell, and we went to turn in. They're like, "Oh, did you pick up your packet yet?" We're like, "No." They're like, "Oh, you need to go down the ramp."
Right.
And there's like 7 ramps, and we're like, we went in.
The thing that they didn't tell you is that the ramp was actually going into the parking garage. It wasn't going into the conference center. It was at the actual packet pickup.
Right.
Was in the parking garage underneath the conference center.
It was fine. It was very well set up. It was spacious.
It was set up. They had the it was like AstroTurf carpeting that they had down, and it was nice and that. I mean,
until it rained.
That was the problem.
All the water went down into the parking garage, and it didn't affect us because we did our package pickup on the Thursday. Right. Our friends got there Friday, and we of course went with them because I love Race Expos. I would just go to all of them. And you could just hear the squishy, squishy. And they had fans trying to dry it, but there wasn't a lot you could do.
And the only complaint I had about it is I wore the shoes that I was running and I was wearing that day just because we were doing a lot of walking in the park and I wanted to have comfortable shoes on. It was squishy and my shoes got a little wet, which I don't like my shoes wet, especially when I'm running. And I was running the next day and I just... Two days later I ran. So I was a little concerned about it because it takes forever for shoes to dry out.
And they were not, and that's the other, they were not prepared for the amount of people. I think California's really gotten a huge influx with the whole coast to coast.
Yeah.
A lot.
I would say that.
They were a little flabbergasted by the amount of people. Like when we went to pick up our shirts, they were like, whoa. And I was a little confused. That was my pattern.
Most times when you go to these races, they'll have a placard up over the table that says, this bib number, this
but
race.
They were a little overwhelmed, I think, with how many people were there. And we're just like, oh my God. I think they thought that people would kind of like come in, kind of California cool and just whatever. And instead it was like 7. Everybody showed up on Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad on Thursday.
For us, it wasn't that bad because when we picked our stuff up, it was fine because it was really not a lot of people came in on Thursday, right? So, but Friday when we went with our friends to pick up their packets and stuff like that, that was a little hairier, because there's a lot more people there getting their stuff. Because, people take one day off from work to get out there to get ready for the race versus, like we do, flying in a day early or 2 days early, so.
The other con was not a great selection around Disney merchandise.
Yeah.
And I don't know
I agree with
if
that.
That's... I don't know. I don't know why. It just didn't seem like I didn't like the jackets this year, and that might just be my personal thing. They were really small. There wasn't a lot for the men at all.
No.
But it was also the same thing. It was like the princesses are more...
It's more woman-oriented. It's not...
And here's the thing.
Focused and geared towards the men that are running. It's geared towards the women.
Pandora was the sponsor. And Pandora had a little... I'm not even wearing my Pandora. I have my Alex and Honey's on. But Pandora had a little booth at the expo, which was cute. Mm-hmm. They had wing tattoos and wings. You can get fish chicken in front of them. But when we ran the Princess, and it was Children's Miracle Network was the sponsor, they were everywhere. Like, we got this awesome lithograph. Can you see how awesome that is?
See?
It's beautiful.
Children's Miracle Network.
Down the bottom. So the sponsors were not as prevalent, which I guess is a good and a bad thing. I mean, it's Pandora's jewelry, but still, I would have liked to see more of the charities that you see. So,
well, yeah. I would like to see any of the charities, because there's a lot of charities that actually get space in the races where they ask people to raise money for them. And if you raise a certain amount, then they'll give you one of their running spaces to run for them. I know Marguerite and I have run for Alex's Lemonade Stand in the past. Fiona's actually going to be running for Alex's Lemonade Stand this fall.
We do Children's Miracle Network.
We've done Children's Miracle Network.
Our friend Maureen's doing Home for Troops.
Warriors.
Home for Troops.
Home for Troops. Okay.
Home for Troops. In the fall, that's how she's doing the Wine and Dine. So they have really great, and they're great programs. Like Alex's Lemonade Stand is an amazing Children's Miracle Network. Oh my God! Like we said, we've been blessed to have 5 healthy kids, and what they are,
I can't imagine. Can't even imagine what those.
That transitioned us over to the Disney World Pros. Was that it's in the ESPN wide world of sports, another 5 times fast.
Yeah.
And it's.
Which, if you haven't been there, by the way, and I have to be honest with you, for me, I love soccer, I love baseball and everything like that, but I really have no reason to go over there if it wasn't for these
for the expo.
Yeah,
There's
no purpose to really. There's nothing there.
Our dream is to have one of our children play soccer there, or Katie to do a gymnastics meet there. Don't get me wrong.
That is true.
But that's
the facilities
why we would be
are beautiful.
We wouldn't just go to be like, hey, we have a free day on Disney property. Let's go to the Wild World. Even though it would be cool to take Gary and Katrina there.
Well, I think Gary. Well, they're going to do the race.
But anyway,
they're going to do the race.
But
so
ESPN, it's set up differently. So you go in, and I don't know. I kind of like Disneyland better this way, but this, you look down into the expo, you go down the stairs, and you go down to the expo, so you kind of can map it out to see.
2 separate auditoriums or gymnasiums that it's in. So one's in one building over here, this way.
Right, and that's package pickup, shirt pickup. No, package pickup.
Package pickup, and we picked our challenge shirts up there, but...
Yeah, see, well, there we go, all conning again. Let's stick with pros right now. So ESPN Zone, it's used to having that many people. It's got a big flow. There's a lot of bathrooms. There's stuff going on. You can deal with stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of vendors. A lot more variety in vendors.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I felt like there was a lot in California, but it was very small. Well, that's my thing with California, right? The tiny castle, the small vendors. So even I love Raw Threads. Shout out to Raw Threads. I love
Raw Threads is awesome.
Their stuff. Awesome. And they are so helpful. And their booth wasn't even that it was that smaller in California. It just seemed more crowded. So in Florida, I feel like
the flow space, the space between the booths wasn't as much.
It was very kind of like in and out and trying to figure out. And they're stocked within a different building, so they had to run over. So that
I found very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why that was, but whatever. They found my shirt. I don't care. But and that while you can't walk to ESPN, there is busing. And they really go out of their way to make sure there's enough busing for everybody. That, I mean, the one time we were all crowded on there like sardines, but for the most part, there's a lot of buses. Right
now, it's busing from select, or let me take this a step back. It used to be busing from select resorts. So certain resorts were they called sponsor resorts for the races. So it'd be like Saratoga, Pop Century, Polynesian, Wide World of Sports. I think the Contemporary was.
Yeah, most of the big named ones were, but like we stayed in
Coronado
Springs,
and that was not,
and it was not. And
we were told it was when.
And it was a little. It wasn't so much a nightmare getting to the race or even the expo because we would just take a bus to downtown Disney and then we'll go to Saratoga to getting home. Well, we'll go. We're getting there. Okay.
But so then the buses would take you right there, and it's really not that bad. They drop you off right in the parking lot and. You walk in. I mean, it's a little bit of a walk, but it's not. But
it's pretty, terrible. And the weather was decent, so you're fine. Now, there ends my pros for Disney World, as far as the expo.
As far as the expo?
Yes, because cons go to. I like the challenges. I like running the 10K and the half, and I understand that they have to be really, really careful to make sure, like I've got my picture taken every single time to make sure that I'm the same person. Even we look so much alike.
They match them up.
They match. So that way they do a photo thing to make sure. And I'm like, do you realize that when I got my picture taken, I had my hair done and some makeup on, and I just ran 13 miles, and they're not good.
Yeah, but there are people out there that will pay for it, and then one of them will run a 10, the other will run the half.
Yeah. Or they'll skip the 10 and only run the half so that they can get the challenge medal, whatever.
Yeah.
So, my issue with Disney, when I picked up my package in Disneyland, same spot he did. When we did the one in the Princess, the challenge packages were in a totally different spot than everything else.
Yeah.
And it was...
everything was. The package pickup, the shirt pickup, everything was totally in a completely different area.
And it was a nightmare. Not a nightmare, but it was like you're going back and forth. And we had the kids with us, and we're trying
to... And we were with friends, and it was
so stressful. And there was nobody could tell us anything. Like, when we went to the first one, we're like, oh, is this our pack? And they're like, oh, no, you're over there. And we went over there, and they're like, oh, no, you're back there. Oh, no, actually, it's this third location. I was
There's a lot of wandering on. So it wasn't structured the best. I'm hoping that they've learned lessons. Like, part of me in my heart is hoping that they learned lessons from some of the stuff that they did in Florida, and that's why California was so much better. I don't know.
Well, because the other thing was the gift card. So when you run the wine and dine, you get a Disney gift card. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason...
For food. Afterwards. At the wine and dine.
Now, they've actually fixed this. They mail it to you now. So you get
the runners.
The runners.
Okay.
However, our friend went to get it, and the line was literally 4 blocks long.
He was part of what they called the cheer squad. And what that is family and friends of the runners.
He wasn't running the half. He ran the 10K.
Right. But family and friends of the runners can, for a little extra money, can pay some money, and then you can sit in the bleachers actually, the entire course. There's different spots for them to stand, and they can cheer, and they get Mickey Mouse hand clappers and things like that.
Mouse hand clappers?
He should. I'm pretty sure he does.
But anyway, he waited, and he didn't. He just gave up the gift card. He was like, "Forget it, it's not worth it." So now,
at that time, it was $10. It's up to $15 now.
But now they mail it to you.
Now they mail it to you.
So they fixed that, but it was something that really bothered me.
And that's why when we were saying about picking the stuff up in Disneyland at the expo, when you pick up your packet, you get the extra stuff that you ordered. It wasn't like that in Florida. So if you ordered the extra stuff, you got your packet, and then you got a voucher, and you had to go and stand in another line to pick up the extra merchandise that you bought.
Oh my God. And it was like...
And they
were literally putting the lines on the floor because they didn't know where to put it.
It was masking tape, putting out lines on the floor.
Then when we got up, it was finally my turn, and I went up to get my necklace, which ended up breaking. But it was like, oh, okay, here you go. They didn't even check anything. They're like, you got a necklace, here you go. I'm like, I could have walked up, and they're like, I got 6 pins and 4 necklaces, hand them over. And they were just like, take them.
So the fact that they put it in your packet ahead of time, I like that. I'm hoping that that's a lesson that they've learned, and they're starting to implement across the entire expo.
Because my next con was getting to the Race Expo. If you're not staying at a race resort, it's a pain in the patookus. But apparently the Wine and Dine, which will be our next time in Florida, all the resorts are race resorts. That's what I've been told. So we're staying at Pop, so we'll be fine. But they're just saying that they were like, no, that's something they've changed. So okay, fine, whatever.
And if you're traveling in, I know not everyone stays on Disney property, and that's fine. Look, what you need to do for your family is what you need to do.
Absolutely.
Driving into the expo,
not a good idea.
Can be a little hairy.
I would rather drive to downtown Disney or into one of the.
Go to one of the resorts.
Contemporary and say, oh, we're here for lunch.
Exactly. You can go to any of the resorts and say, oh, we're here to eat lunch or whatever, breakfast. We got to, we're going there to eat. And you can get in.
And you can park. Yeah.
You park there for free. You get a bus over.
We're good to go.
All done. Good to go.
And the other part that was not good was the runDisney merchandise in Disney World. Because the cashiers, remember we were talking California.
No, the merchandise was good. The setup of the tent wasn't good.
And they put the cashiers right at the end of the tent.
Right.
And then they tried to cram everybody into that line to wait. And, now, waiting in that line is where we got our little Run Mickey, who's our little mascot. Because Katie was standing with us. She's like, please, please, please. And I said no to her 14 times already. And she's standing with me in line for 45 minutes. I'm like, fine, you can have the Mickey. And now he's our mascot. So whatever. But much better in Disneyland where they just corralled you out and sent you somewhere. And you're like, oh, I'm walking down here. And look, this is a nice airy room. And I'm going to spend money.
Now, part of the challenge may be because it's in a gymnasium. And it's a large open space. And there's not hallways like there are in Disneyland Hotel. But
they could make a velvet rope.
They could do something. They could put up, temporary partitions and walls and stuff and make it better. I really do believe that they could do that. And like I said, my heart is hoping that they've learned these lessons and that they're going to implement them going forward just to make it a better experience for everyone. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like we're really dumping on runDisney and their expos right now.
Oh, no, my God, I love runDisney. No, and comparatively speaking, like I said, other ones you go to, they're like, oh, here is some local races, and they're like, oh, we're sponsored by Domino's Pizza, so here's a slice of pizza and you're done. Disney is miles above this. This is just stuff that, and I will go to every expo. You can invite me to every one. I will go to them. I love them. I love looking at the merchandise. I love looking at all the stuff that they have. And even they have these things I want, these earbuds. Because I hate earbuds, but these ones are foamy and they expand, and I'm going to look for them next. I will buy things.
Yeah.
But just, our little take. It's like Disneyland versus Disney World. Some things we liked, some things we didn't like. And I honestly was pleasantly surprised by Disneyland because I'm a Disney person and I wanted, my giant castle and my magical things. But I really thought the expo was really well done out there.
Yeah.
And not that Disney World isn't well done. It's just that we've been, like I said, they fixed the gift cards. They fixed the race resort issue.
Yep.
They're getting it, but there's little things like this that would just make it flow a lot better for them.
Right. And I think it's just the sheer volume of people that they have there too. I mean, what do they have? Like
They
between
should hire
15. Okay, I would. Yeah, totally. Whatever, I'll do it.
Just hire me. I'll fix it.
I think they have between 15 to 20,000 people that run these races.
Well, between the 5K, the 10K, the half, the kids
Right.
races.
And the amount of people is just ginormous. So to get all of them in and to disseminate all the information, all the required material, and everything like that, to get it out to them. You right there? Am I boring you?
No.
Okay.
I'm a little tired.
It's all good.
I have to run tomorrow morning.
Yes, we do.
Early.
But to get all that out there and to get that taken care of, it's quite an undertaking. I mean, it's not something that's very simple and easy to do. So I get why there's challenges. But they've been doing it for quite some time now. And I will say, every year there's a little bit more added to it. There's a little bit more going into it. And you can see the steps. All right. So that was our video on our comparison of the Race Expos. We had a little bit more, but the...
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, for some reason the camera stopped recording. So
but now we have a new thing to record on.
Yes, we got a new toy. We got an iPad. I'm so excited. I love it. It's so great. It's making editing the videos a lot easier and a lot more fun too. So I'm really enjoying it. So
there'll be more of them. Yay.
Hopefully, we'll see what happens. So, but anyhow, that was it. So if you liked the video, thumbs up, share.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. Oh, I was pointing down to the thumbs up down there. Thumbs it up. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, keep dreaming. Take it easy, guys.